Hello everyone, King Comic here, presenting you with another commission showcase video. Now, before we get into it, I just want to talk about character selection just a little bit. Now, character selection is something I take probably a little bit too seriously. It's something that completely plagues my mind when I'm on a commission list or when I'm planning on getting a commission. The reason I take it so seriously is I consider these opportunities as the last time I will get a piece from this artist. Even if it's an artist that I've had many pieces from, or if it's a first time opportunity, I always consider it as the last time I will get something from them. So I want to actually make the right decision when I'm picking my character. I often go with villains. In fact, I almost always go with villains. That's a trend I don't tend to see going away anytime soon. I'm a big villain guy. So that kind of narrows down a lot of character choices. You know, I'm typically not going to go with a Captain America or, you know, a Spider-Man, a Batman, a Superman. I usually go with, you know, Jokers or Sabretooths or, you know, Juggernauts. I love my villains. It's a theme with all of my sketchbooks, and so sometimes that makes the character decision a tough decision to make. I went through a pretty long phase early on and for several years in my commission collecting, I guess, career, where I only wanted characters that this artist has drawn before, whether it was on a cover, a variant cover, or in interiors. So I had to get a villain, a character that they have drawn before, and so that even narrowed things down even further. And even very early on, I didn't want to get repeat characters. If I had a Magneto in my collection, that was the only Magneto I was going to get. Now, as I continued getting commissions, I kind of got rid of that. I started getting characters I wanted, getting villains I wanted. Even if I had several Magnetos in my collection, if I wanted a Magneto from this artist, then I would request a Magneto. And then I started to kind of break away from that, getting only characters that they've drawn in published form before. I found that sometimes an artist I really enjoyed didn't really draw that many villains, or drew villains that weren't really well known, or I didn't really care about. So I kind of broke away from that as well. And that leads us right into our commission showcase today. We're going to be talking about Wes Craig, a comic book artist, a comic book writer, and a fellow Canadian like myself. I've been trying to get a piece from Wes Craig for quite some time, so when I got on his list, I was very, very excited, and then it began the whole character selection process. Now, because I've been wanting a Wes Craig piece for some time, I have fantasized about which characters I've wanted to get. And for a while, I wanted to get a Thanos. Now, he drew Thanos, I believe, in like 1 or 2 panels in his Guardians run several years ago. And he didn't even draw like the typical Thanos, the armored Thanos. His Thanos bursted out of an egg and was unclothed with goop coming out of him. So, I mean, it was a character that he had published, that he had drawn, and it was a villain. So, ever since then, I kind of just always thought if I ever had the opportunity to meet Wes Craig, I was going to get a Thanos. Now, let's get into it. Here it is, my comic book commission Thanos from Wes Craig. I hope you enjoy.
King Comic.
Alright, so for many years, I have noticed that Wes Craig was going to comic conventions basically all around me, but not at the shows that I typically attended on a year-to-year basis. So I always held out hope that I was going to get something from him, that he was going to finally be announced to one of my shows. To this day, that has not happened quite yet, but he very recently opened up an online commission list, and I jumped on that right away. I figured, you know what? why not? I'm just gonna get on his list. I tend to prefer seeing the sketch getting done before me. I tend to like seeing the artist and chatting with them face to face, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, and so that's what I did here. This was also the last mail-in commission I had received before I started recording the unboxing videos. So unfortunately, we don't get an unboxing with this one today. Which, I mean, it came in a very a smallish envelope. It would have been a very short unboxing anyways, but it would have been cool to show that reveal. In any case, I'm going to show you the piece right now. We're going to talk about how it turned out. And here it is. My Wes Craig Thanos, which I absolutely adore. It is such a brooding, moody, and like mighty piece. And I think I kind of lucked out. In most of his commissions, I noticed that he does at least like one color, if any colors. And I lucked out with two here. The Thanos iconic purple skin and the yellow from his gauntlet and armor, which I was incredibly pleased to see. And I mean, look at this thing. This is phenomenal. We get the like the iconic Kirby crackle that's going on here, which is super cool. I mean, it pays tribute to the classic Thanos look, the classic Thanos vibe. But what I absolutely love about this piece is, and you've heard me talk about it before, the iconic artist style. This really screams Wes Craig. And for me, I can tell Wes Craig's style by that mouth, that kind of like W rounded wide mouth, and also the eyes, especially with a lot of his like villains, to create that moody atmospheric look. He's got a lot of like shadows going on, and you just get the little glimmer from the eye, which I am very happy to say came with this piece here. I mean, it says a lot. It portrays a lot without having to draw the full eye, but it invokes such a feeling from the character and from the piece. It's very menacing and very intense. I also really love the like negative space he's using here with the whites on the face, the whites of the paper, acting as a light source, where the intense light from the gauntlet is shooting up into his face, and the purples of his actual skin tone are acting as more of a shade and shadow almost, which I thought is super neat. It's something that I can't quite do in my own artwork. I can't quite figure out the proper use of negative space like masters like Frank Miller with Sin City or Wes Craig here. They make it look so easy, just, you know, having that negative space all planned out, but it's not an easy technique to master. I mean, it's knowing shadows and kind of reversing it, almost like a negative on like a picture or print, where you have to kind of reverse the blacks to whites and the whites to black, and it's something that I can't quite wrap my head around. But artists like Wes Craig here just know how to do it like that, or make it seem like they know how to do it like that, but I'm sure it takes a lot of practice and a lot of trial and error. So needless to say, I am very happy to have this in my collection. It's been a long time coming, just fingers crossed that I would meet Wes Craig someday. Didn't quite get to meet him yet. Hopefully still in the future I get that opportunity, and then I have to go through the whole spiral of which character am I going to get him to draw me now. But at least I've got one piece from him that I've been praying for many, many years. I believe I've been following Wes Craig's career since the early days of his published work, as far as I know anyways. And being able to see his art style just grow and manifest into this own style, and then now starting to see him write comics himself, has been just an absolute treat. And many of you will know Wes Craig from Deadly Class, written by Rick Remender, which is quite possibly one of my favorite Rick Remender comic books these days. It is such a raw, intense, it is not afraid to be gruesome, gross, heart-wrenching, gut-punching, and a lot of that comes from Wes Craig's bold, exciting, and ferocious art style. His very moody art style. I know moody's a word I've used quite a few times in this video, but I find his style so atmospheric and so dark and shadowed, and his character design work is quite vast. You see all shapes and sizes of heads and bodies, and I just love seeing his work. I just eat it up. And if you haven't seen much of his stuff, I highly recommend. He's done some Marvel stuff in the past. He's even like in between Deadly Class these days, he's working on his own projects. Most recently, the Gravedigger Union, and I believe he's got another book that he's solely writing and drawing. I don't think anything's come out of it yet. Highly recommend Wes Craig. Highly recommend following any of his work and following Deadly Class, reading the comics, watching the TV show, which unfortunately only had one season, but terribly fun to watch. It's a shame that it was canceled so early, especially with creators like Rick Remender and Wes Craig. I hope you all enjoyed the Commission Showcase video here. If it's something you did enjoy, please like, subscribe. I've got plenty more just like it. I've got a lot more sketch videos from artists and a handful of unboxing videos. So in the meantime, take care of yourselves, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye for now.